Hello everybody, this is RegiTime with another winter collection video, and this time we're at the 888 13L tables, just by way of change for the video and by a way of change for my grind. As you know, I've been playing quite a lot on Sky lately, but I'm making this video on a Tuesday night into a Wednesday morning, and I've noticed that Sky traffic is it's not really any use to me kind of Sunday through Thursday. It just seems pretty much dead those times. It's just really hard to get up to speed with tables, and volume wise I'm struggling. Yeah, there's fishy games, but there's maybe 2 or 3 fishy games. Maybe you're waiting ages before you get into a game, and I just feel like I'm spending an awful lot of time doing literally nothing, which isn't where I need to be, which isn't where I want to be. It's 10 fish in the blinds, just kind of think. It's not ideal. Well, I'm not maximising my time spent at the tip, my time that I allot to poker. I still intend to play on Sky Thursday through Saturday, because I think the games are exceptional then. But pretty much Monday through Thursday, I think I'm going to be probably putting much more time in on the snap tables, because I think just getting the volume in at those times is going to be better for my hourly rate than spending maybe 25-30% of my time doing absolutely fuck all. I'm going to bomb this turn on table 3. We had the flush draw on 2 overs still. I think the 9 gives us an opportunity to think about check calling here versus miss straight draws, miss flush draws, that type of thing. It's a big bet. German, I know nothing about this guy. I think his value range is going to be quite narrow though, and there's tons of bluffs he can have, so I guess we have to call. And he did just have the gut shot that missed, so goes. Pretty happy with how that worked out. So yeah, you can probably expect to see more videos from 888 than you can from Sky over the coming weeks, just because they make for better videos too. We get way more hands per hour. We're not sat around waiting for age. We're not flipping tables in and out because games are breaking, tables are breaking, etc. It just makes for all round better videos, I think. So all in all, better videos, more traffic Monday through Thursday, Sunday through Wednesday. Makes 888 a reasonable option. I'll make a pretty big C bet on table 1. All kinds of things we can get called by. Probably not going to fold if we get raised by Black Labs, who has the fish tag. Won't be as excited to get raised by the unknown player. And if he raises 2 players here, I'll be totally and utterly not thrilled. 4's a pretty damn good card. And C betting our open ender on table 2. Set mining on table 3. Raising our pocket kings on table 1. Checking out miss set. And we're not going to be barreling on table 2 because the 3 of spades is an awful card to barrel on. I don't like this line that Black Labs has taken here. I mean, it's hard to have a 4. Who knows? The jack shouldn't really help him. I mean, we're not folding, but we don't like the situation. A bit of a nit roll here, I guess. I guess the jack did help him. I didn't think the jack could possibly have helped him there. What the fuck do I know? Not much by the looks of things. Black Labs used to have the donkey tag, and he turned into a fish tag, and it's been a while since I played on 888, so I don't actually recall why he went from donkey tag to fish tag, but he might be returning to donkey tag imminently. Would isolate with the jack 10, well not isolate, would raise for value with the jack 10, but his stack size doesn't leave much room for post-flop play. That bet's too big, really, with the Queen 10. Guess I could have made it slightly smaller, but no biggie. We win the fold, which is absolutely fine by me. I'm going to take a stab here now with the Jack 10, just again to fold like random Queen highs and King highs and whatever. He might just limit you like King 5 or something like that. 7-5 suited from the cut-off. Sometimes I open that, sometimes I don't. Pretty much depends on what kind of mood I'm in, or who's in the blinds. If there's nits in the blinds, I'll open it. If there's fish in the blinds, I usually won't, because low cards don't do too great against fish. Ace-3 suited. Kind of tempting to play it, especially with like someone who's tagged as a fish in the blinds. Effectively, it's a cut-off open. Go on then. We'll see a flop. See what happens. Min 3-bet with the 5s. Hope to bin cassette. We do not bin cassette. We will be tagging somebody who min 3-bets off a short stack though. See what's going on down here with the Ace-3. If anything noteworthy happens. And it absolutely doesn't. Well, I guess somebody getting Ace-Queen in pre is borderline interesting, but nothing to write home about. There's no way our 5s are good, but there's no real reason to try and bluff either. Pot's so small, I do not expect anyone to fold anything close to reasonable. Who knows what that Russian guy min 3-bet with. Ace-Queen. Fair enough. It feels nice to be back playing some snap games. I literally haven't played them for several weeks now. I've been fully focused on Sky. Exploitable size intel here that I'm making on table 3. Fully expecting not to get exploited for it. Guess we're just going to call with the Queen 9 suited, try and flop something big. Yeah, it feels kind of familiar to be back on Triple Eight. Do I think the games are the best ever? No. Do I think they're better than Sky? No. Do I think the overall package is better than Sky at times when Sky isn't at its best for me? Well, we'll see, I guess. I guess we'll see. I guess that's what I think it is. Otherwise, why would I move back? I mean, I'm hoping this is going to give me more opportunities to play in the morning. I'm hoping it's going to give me more opportunities to play after midnight, both of which are good times for me to play. So yeah. If nothing else, it's absolutely going to help with my volume and how many hours I can put in. So just by that alone, it's almost certainly going to have an impact on how much money I make every month in a positive way. And we can set mine against somebody who's only playing 70 blinds. Hopefully expecting to get paid off more when we do hit our hand. Come on, do it, Dag. Do it. Oh, he did. He did do it. There's no reason not to disappoint him here. We are pretty damn deep. I fully expect him to put the rest in now. He just calls. It's got to be a fantastic flop for us. No spade. Beautiful. Why does he have to get that sweat? Does he really deserve? Do I deserve to have to sweat that? Who knows? Who knows? Why can't he just have like ace king offsuit there and just have life super easy for me? Have him drawing dead. I'm almost angry that he had so much equity when he got all the money in. So we've been raised on the driest flop ever. We have top pair. We've been check raised. Well, we're getting raised all over the place. I don't really want to fold either just yet. Having the ace of hearts is useful. The 3 pairing is mega useful. We now beat queen 9 if he has that. Makes it less likely as a set, of course. I'm just going to call down again if he bets. Don't love it by any stretch of the imagination. Did we win that hand with the queen jack? I don't even know what happened. Yeah, he had the queen 5. Too much happened at once to me. He needs to readjust to the speed of this stuff. I guess we can make a really small bet for value. Let's hope to get paid off by queen X or whatever. He absolutely snaps me off. And he had, yeah, he did have the queen, which I guess he needs to have when he clicks the call button. So we're thick into the action, straight into the thick of the action straight away, back on 888. Maybe it's some redeposit run good, who knows? But whatever it is, I ain't complaining. 2 6s. No known regulars behind, so hopefully less likely to get squeezed. Alas, we do not flop a set. Good shot on table 2. So we'll stab it. Very small race of value on table 3. And we don't win. Sorry for the jumpiness of the video. My cat just did something irritating in the kitchen, so I needed to go and very quickly see what the fuck she was up to, and she disappeared, so who knows. A funny noise emanated from the kitchen, but it appears that there's been no, whatever the heck it was, it doesn't appear to have caused any damage, and the cat isn't there, so presumably it hasn't damaged her as well. I guess we just have to bet call it off here on table 2. And if he's trapping us, good for him. He just gets to win another 32 blinds, but there's just so many draws out there. Worst aces. We can't be just giving too many free cards and cheap cards on that board texture. You've got to bet for value protection, call it what you will, and if we end up getting trapped, then you know, at least it's not for a big pot because he doesn't have much money to start with. Reasonable flop for our 10s on table 3. When the pre-flop raise checks, I'm just going to make a small bet. I really want to get into a check guessing game with the button. When he check calls, I think he's either trapping with the king, obsessed with the word trapping tonight, or he has a hand like 9s through queens, maybe even aces that he's just getting scared with. When he check calls, I think there's, to betting again, it doesn't seem to serve much purpose to me, because I don't think he's still going to fold like any of the pairs that I think he's check calling with that beat us, and only call with like fold most of the better pairs, most of the pairs that we're beating, sorry, should I say. Completely butchered that, and then he bets the river. Just have an easy fold. King Jack suited. I guess we need to see a flop with a hand as strong as that. Not going to bet this flop. Too often when fish 3-bet then check, Too often they're going for a check raise. I do not want to get raised off my hand here, so I'm just going to check back. Maybe think about calling the turn. If he checks again, I'll probably stab. I think he's just going to have a bunch of ace highs and what have you. Going to bet small on the turn and big on the river. That's going to be the plan here. And he just folds anyway. So who knows? Maybe we got to fold a better hand. Maybe he was just fucking about pre-flop. Who knows? Once more, when we win the pot, who the fuck cares? King Jack has showdown value on table 2. We also no, there's no we also. I'm just talking bollocks. Just basically has showdown value. Not that much reason to bet. We can get him off some smaller pairs if he checks the turn. And he just like snap folds. Flop a good shot multi-way on table 3. Not going to see bet it. If we had the ace of spades, I could be persuaded to. But as it is, we're just going to check back. Get 3-bet again by the same player 3-bet as a minute ago. This time our hand is much weaker, so just going to let it go. I think I might bet twice now on this 10-8-7-7 board, but I don't need to. Deuces never loses. Let's have a look. See if that is true. Wow, it is true. Deuces do indeed never lose. No idea what that sizing's all about, but it earns him that tag. Wow, 347 big blinds. I did not notice that. That is a nice amount of big blinds to have at a poker table. Playing deep stacks fun. It completely changes the dynamics of the game. I haven't really noticed anybody with it. Oh, there's someone with a similar stack size. There's a few reasonably deep stacks. So hopefully we can get in at least one fun deep stack spot before the end of the video. Hopefully we won't be on the arse end of a cooler, because that would be disappointing. And jack off, effectively middle position, so we'll raise. Ace jack offsuit. Do I want to get 35 blinds in pre with ace jack? I think that will be horrendous. So we'll start by just calling, I think. If he had more chips, we could like 3-bet fold quite comfortably, but he doesn't. So do we run a 3-bet, call it off? Almost certainly not. And I don't want to fold because ace jack's pretty good hand. Someone leads into us for 1 big blind here. And treat it like a check and act accordingly. So I would have checked back. Had he not bet 1 big blind, I would have checked. And I have no fucking clue what's going on here, but we'll fold and watch just for the amusement. It's nice having this extra bit of real estate on your screen. You can get to watch all the monstrous fucking dribbliness that goes on. Wow, look at this. They're just all going for it. It's probably going to be a chop, isn't it? No, ace queen versus a nuts. Ace king versus a nuts, sorry. Man, I was in rough shape there. Good shot, backdoor, flush draw. Call seems really good. Snap half pots a turn. So call's not an option anymore. It's just raise or fold, isn't it? And he had led into us twice on what was a dry board. So I'm leaning to him having a made hand most of the time. I'm not expecting players to lay down made hands too often, so we'll just fold. I guess we maybe could have raised that flop, possibly rush that hand there, or well, rush the flop maybe. Pretty dry flop on table 2, we're just going to make a small stab. We get instantly min raised, which is as amusing as it is irritating, so we'll fold to it. Good shot on table 1. No reason not to bet. We get snap called, we turn a pair. No reason not to bet. And I guess we just try for some very thin value on the river here against Anja, who might just call, hoping to chop. He doesn't know, he folds. Dry board. Stack to pot ratio is very, very dicey though. Any bet we make, he can just jam over. I'm going to take my free card. Well, I was about to call this bet. It seems like our friend here may well have saved me. No, we were ahead of him, but he had flopped it, so there you go. Definitely would have called this fellow. Once this other fellow overcalls, I think it's super unlikely second pair is going to be good there. I think it's a fold that's pretty damn trifling, to be honest with you. I don't think it's even close to being a difficult fold. I'm not trying to pretend it was either. Second pair, good shot on that board. Bet the turn for a little bit of value from any two pairs he can have, any flush draws, etc. Hope we don't get raised, because if we get raised, we just want to puke. Didn't get raised, so there's no reason to be vomiting. Wow, what's happening here? Well, there's 37 players in the lobby still, so who knows, maybe just a slight glitch in the matrix. Could squeeze our king jack suited here, but we have a hand that plays very well post flop. Ultimate position with being on the button, and if we 3-bet and get squeeze, if we 3-bet or squeeze, sorry, and get 4-bet, just a fucking disaster. So we'll just call. We can contemplate calling a squeeze if either of these two gentlemen decide to make one, because we are slightly deeper and we have a very strong hand. Although I don't expect either of these guys to be squeezing too lightly. Still think we'd be obliged to see a flop with king jack suited, as long as it wasn't an absurdly large squeeze. Let's check through to us. I think it gives us license to just bet very small. We have 2 overcards, backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw, and all 3 players just snap fold. That's a spot where too many players give up. 3-bet fold the ace 10 off against somebody who doesn't have a full stack. Check call with the ace 7, second pair, backdoor flush draw. Guess we're just checking again. I don't think he can have very much with checks back that board, and then the river 10. I don't think he has anything here. I don't think he has anything. He can call a bet with, unless he's just got like pocket 5s or something. But it doesn't look like he wants to bluff either, so we just make a bet and hope to get called by whatever, some kind of pocket pair. Games seem pretty good tonight. Maybe a good decision to choose Triple Eight as my gladiatorial arena for the evening. Second pair on a monotone board. We will not be betting if it checks to us. I'm delighted to check back this turn, this flop. Because we're delighted to check it back doesn't mean we have to snap check it back though, of course. Ace 4 suited, 2 fish in the blinds, seems like a reasonable place to call and see a flop. Gonna bet just in case he has some random heart in his hand here. On table 2 we flopped the absolute world. There's nothing he can have here. Not going to see bet. It's just like super hard to get caught by worse. I mean, what can he have? We've got the board crushed. We get check min raised on table 2 and I've no intention of calling a river bet, so we'll just give up now. And if he's bluffed as well, okay, hallelujah, plus stuff top pair, no kicker on that board. It's not something I'm going to lose a bunch of sleep over. Carlos is probably just hero for Hollywooding or folding here. I mean, what can he have? We just got everything. And it's really cool when you flop a full house in terms of, yeah, look at me, I've got a full house, I've got the nuts. But then you've got to ask yourself, well, what the fucking hell can I get caught by? And the answer is not a lot, unless he has like the case ace. I think he leads a turn with the case ace. So, yeah. One of those nice to look at, doesn't actually make us that much money. Flop a nut flush draw on a paired board. Kind of interesting spot. You get called, we had a gut shot. Do not expect to get any folds though, so I don't believe I have any fold equity here, so I'm just going to check back and try and realise all of my equity. We flop top set on a monotone flop on table 2. And we completely brick on table 1. Table 3, sorry. And there's just no way we can call. And we're just going to jam the turn on King 7 on table 4. Table 2, sorry. Getting all my table numbers mixed up tonight. King 7, he couldn't wait to shovel all his chips in, could he? I have my 7, and I am not relinquishing it. 40 big, start with a 40 big blind stack. I'm not calling 3x opens. Although we are mega deep with the big blind. Irritating, but we'll let it go. Very dry board on table 2. So we just take a stab. Do like stabbing at these dry boards, especially when we have 2 overs. It's nice. You won't catch me stabbing too much at wet boards, but dry boards are pretty much stab close to 100% when I'm checked too. Again, very dry board. I mean, we could have the best hand here, but we'll just take a stab anyway. We repped a big one pre-flop with our 6x open, so happy just to pick up the pot there rather than just allow him to see a turn with his Jack 10 or whatever and just hit whatever it is, 12.5% of the time, is it? Something like that. Just deny him that equity. Wow, we're running well with top set. We're running well with flopping sets tonight. It's definitely some redeposit run good. I guess I'm just going to bet quite big here and just hope he has something he doesn't feel like folding. Be more delightful if he's got an underset. Gonna call here if a club rolls off and just jamming the turn anyway, because we have like backdoor clubs kind of covered. Queen 10's just got there. Not particularly concerned about Queen 10. As far as I'm concerned, we still have the nuts. He just checks. Looks very much like he's just giving up here. Struggling with what size to make it here. I'm giving too good a price on his draw. If he does have one. But I certainly don't want to just check back. He calls and a beautiful brick on the river. That was a bad card. Never mind. Don't suppose we can complain too much. I think we've run pretty hot this session. I mean, of course, it's irritating, but on the bright side, he only had 40 big blinds, so it's hard to quibble. As I said in many videos before, there's just no sense in getting wound up by that. I mean, I understand if it happens 4 or 5 times in a session, eventually you just snap and you get fed up with it. But especially when things are going well for you, you just got to be like, right, whatever. We've ran good in other ways this session. Well, fair enough, we haven't sucked out with anybody, but we've ran good in terms of like we've made lots of sets, we've made lots of other things where we've made plenty of money from. So, you know, when the game takes one back from us, especially when it's only like a 40 big blind it's taking back, we'll just live with it. Probably going to play for another 20 minutes, and I intend to settle down in front of the TV and watch the absolute fucking pantomime that is the US presidential election results coming in. They've been coming in for what, an hour and 40 minutes now, so hopefully things should just be hotting up a little bit. It's hard to root for either of them, isn't it? I mean, Trump's obviously one of the most objectionable wankers you could ever fucking encounter in your life. But I mean, you know, Hillary, she's better. Clearly she's better. But still, could you really honestly say I'm voting for Trump because I'm voting for Clinton because I believe in her? I kind of see any vote for Clinton pretty much as a vote just against Trump. I'm just going to call here and then just raise any flop. Just to allow him to keep any bluffs that he has, allow him to keep them in. And now we just jam and lock it down. If we've somehow he's sucked out on us, then tough fuck for us. Do enjoy flying 4-bets with aces. It's one of my most favourite things in the world. I mean, maybe we could have got it all in there against ace king. Maybe I've missed value pre-flop, but overall it's something I like to do. Deuce. Deuces do indeed seem to lose now. Bottom pair and a good shot. I think we can see one more card. Boom. Just going to lead here. Don't want to give any free cards here. I guess we're going to bet again on table 3 for value from draws, etc. Probably checking back this river. Had to get called by worse. I guess Jack 10. 10-9. Jack 10 exactly. Yeah, we maybe could have got a call from that, but 2 streets is plenty enough there, I think. It's not so much there that I don't think I've got the best hand. I'm reasonably confident I have the best hand, but it's just like when the queen comes, it kind of makes him fold a lot of the stuff. I guess we could have bet really, really small there. But no, I was happy with it. When I got called on the turn, I was kind of thinking, right, let's just put a brick out there on the river, let's check it down, and we probably get to win. I don't know what happened with our straight up there. Did he just fold? Yes, he did. Unfortunate, but I'm just leading that turn all the time there. He's just going to check through way too often, and then some god awful card's going to come off on the river a decent chunk of the time. Wow, more action with the king balls. Right, so what size are we doing it here? It's really awkward because of his stack size. I mean, there's a more than reasonable chance we'd run into aces here, given the action that's gone down. But whatever, if we do, we do. Pretty good flop. Jack being out there, so it makes me a little bit nervous, but I mean, what are we going to do? We really don't want this guy overcalling. This guy overcalls, I'll be a little bit sad. Wow, ace 10 of diamonds. Do not get there. Oh, we got there. And that's the fish tag going on that gentleman. That one does slightly annoy me because that one was a nonsense one. That one was a pure nonsense. But whatever. When we got it in against the ace queen, I don't know. I think the ace 10 suit has played it horribly, but trying not to be too bitter about it. And at the risk of sounding like a really fucking bitter, moderate regular, I think I'm possibly on one of my worst runs in terms of like all in EV that I've been in a long time. It's hard to say on Sky. It's really hard to say. I check raise this and hope he has a straight. He just checks back, which is obviously a little bit irritating. Yeah, I mean on Sky, the amount of times I've got it in really good and just lost lately is absurd. And I've still been making money, which is even more absurd because the way I've been running, it doesn't feel like I should have been making money. But I have been. And but yeah, it is getting a little bit old. I'm not going to lie. Could value bet our kings. Well, I just worried he's going to have a hand like fucking ace 6 and just not fold. Big bet with the tens. Kind of not sure what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping not to get raised. That's the first thing. Table 4. Oh, I didn't even realise we had another player in the hand still. That makes it a bit more interesting because now we have turn options. I mean, I guess he shouldn't have too much Jack X in his range. Funny stack to pot ratio. Let's go for the overbet jam and just hope he calls with like pocket 8 or something. Call with our flush draw 2 overs. Call and hope to smash a set. Did you not smash a set? It's a big C bet into 2 players on a dry board. I'm just going to give him credit. Yeah, some of the all-ins that have happened on Skylit have just been fucking absurd. Getting like 50 blinds in pre with like, I don't know, fucking ace king versus 5-3 off and losing, and it's just been like incessant. I can't remember because obviously I've not been counting, but my guess would be that I've lost like way over like 70% of my all-ins for the last maybe 4 or 5 days when I've got it in as a significant favourite. But again, whatever. I mean, you're happy you're in those games. It just gets a little bit boring after a while. But you know what? What are you going to do about it? You're going to bitch, moan, and like soul can play bad, or are you just going to be like, you know what? This is just fucking the way poker is, and get on with it a little bit. Right, down here we have kind of not very much, just backdoor everything, but actual nothing. So I'm just going to check. Second pair on table 1 after he limp calls pre-flop. Just check it back, control the size of the pot a little bit. Now he's checked again. We're just going to bet for value from who knows what. Pairs, I guess. Worse pairs than the 10 and some draws. Pay attention. Pay attention. Don't be checking when you can. Don't be folding when you can check. 7-9 suited. If we had more chips, I'd maybe consider isolating, but I'll let it go. I'm not feeling in full-on lag mode tonight. I'm feeling much more in just... It seems like the good games, so... Feeling more in... Just play super tight, solid mode. Do I want to get 40 blinds in? I don't want to, but I'm prepared to, I guess. I had to be scared of the ace deuce flop. Can't think of too many aces that play this way. And bet for value from small pairs. Snap calls. I think I'm going to check back the turn because it's hard to get called again by like small pairs. Whatever. Obviously an ace isn't folding and he might just bluff some rivers. I had to see what Jack X he can have. So I'm not really scared of the Jack. Well, again, you could treat it like he's checked here and just check down and whatever. If we see a hand like ace 7 or something, then fuck our lives. 3 deuce. Wow. Messy, messy, messy. What are you doing, sir? That one would have hurt. That one would have really stung. 9-8 suited from somebody who doesn't have a full stack and from the UK. A little bit worried we might get squeezed by one of the blinds, but I mean, look, no one's got any money. What is going on here? Just people playing without full stacks everywhere. These games feel like super good. Second pair, no reason to bet. Just check back. Queen's not ideal. If he bets, it'll be a little bit cheesed off. We'll call anyway because we've also got a really shit gut shot to go with our pair. And then the river just completely bricks out for us. Don't expect to win, don't expect to make him fold a queen or a jack, so we'll just check back. And he has jack king. Good for him. Typical Tim. Who wasn't typical, because typically you would expect people to see bet top pair as the pre-flop raiser. So there was nothing typical about typical Tim's play there. It's always interesting when you play a hand with somebody and then play another hand with them straight after. So he didn't see bet top pair last time. He's playing this exactly the same way as he played his hand earlier. Our hand this time is even weaker though. Ace queen. I think we're going to squeeze and fold to a 4-bet. Could have made it slightly bigger, I guess, but 13 seems more than fine. We get called, which is a little bit disappointing. I was kind of hoping 2 folds were going to happen there. We get called in 2 spots and we break, which is usually a spot where I'm in full-on give-up mode. Even though we could try and rep the king, we could make a good fist of repping the king. The problem is our opponents can have a lot of kings, ace, king, king, queen, king, jack suited, that type of thing. Not going to barrel this turn, even though we pick up a good shot. It's just a terrible card for in terms of like fold equity. We river the flush, but he pairs the board. If he bets big, I'm just calling. If he bets small like that, I'm probably raise folding, am I? Can I raise fold? Don't think I can. I think it's a raise call, isn't it? You check raises to flop with sets most of the time, so I'm not too worried about him having boated up. We can definitely get caught by worse. We got caught by trips, so that's kind of unlucky for him, I guess. Wow, we win with the 2 8s there. Did not expect that. I'd just given the ghost with my 2 8s. Bit of a loose open with the king 9 there, especially with Messi in the button, who we know is a bit of a station. Ace 8 suited, tempted to 3-bet as a bluff, but not against somebody who only has that stack size. This person limps a lot, so he gets the fish tag too, even though he's got a lot of chips. I guess we're just going to lose 2 aces against whatever the heck his name is. Plating trash. Oh, fuck knows what his name is, but this will be interesting if he doesn't fold. He did fold. Hold. Hold. We did hold. Look at that, 450 blinds nearly, is it? Wow. Good times. Let the good times roll. It's including getting kings in versus ace king and losing on this table. Deuces never loses. Let's see. Only they have lost already. What on earth? 29 is my number. What are you doing, sir? Where are you taking 8,000 years? No, we've got presidential elections to watch in 5 fucking minutes. Kind of feel dirty leaving these games. So good. Kind of feels like this is one of the nights where I should just be playing for as long as the games stay good. But I don't have TV in the background. I never do. I play in complete silence usually. If I do have some background going on, it's only ever music. It's never something that requires both my eyes and my ears to pay attention to. So I guess I could just pause my session briefly, see how the early voting's gone. Because let's face it, all these TV channels, they only play the same fucking shite on a loop, don't they? As results come in. I remember staying up for the fucking Brexit vote, one of the most soul-destroying nights of my life. And they were just repeating things over and over, having the same shit politicians on. Basically just filling time until the inevitably shite result came through. Yep, that was a grim night. Not long after that, I actually lost one of my students because he took offence to something that I said in a group session. I think I made a comment of something along the lines of, I would rather have a member of ISIS in the group than somebody who was UK right wing, and it seems he was UK right wing. He sent me a message the next day, basically calling me out for being a dick, and said, "Yeah, I'll see you later." So, anyways, gave me a refund, and he didn't ask for a refund, but I gave one anyway because I kind of felt that he was leaving because I upset him with my political views. It's not really fair. So I gave him his refund. He didn't acknowledge that I gave it to him, but whatever. I guess I should keep my fucking mouth shut sometimes, but you know what? I guess if people are going to be that sensitive over what was clearly a throwaway comment, then I guess I don't need him in my life anyway. How many people left in the lobby? 25. The game is shrinking. It's shrinking, but it's fucking good. 4 Brits, 1 Ukraine, 3 Russia, 1 Romania, 2 Dutch, 6 Canada. It's good. Let's squeeze the Ace Queen suited for value on table 3. Deep enough to consider calling a 4-bet. We get called and we get a disappointing flop. We get called in 2 spots actually. We get a disappointing flop, so again, it's super likely going to be the end of the adventure. They're just going to be so pocket pair heavy between them that don't think it would be a good bluff on my part if I was to see bet. I don't think either of them are strong, but it's just like, just because they're not strong, it doesn't mean they're not going to just bluff catch or check call. I feel really weak checking this back, but I'm going to. Wow, fucking 2 kings, man. 2 kings. That could have worked out pretty horribly. We've dodged a bullet there, I think, haven't we? You're calling twice with the kings, then just like slow playing himself into not having a fucking clue where he was. And that's what happened there on the river. He just didn't know. I mean, he should just be value betting that river for sure. It should probably be value betting the turn, to be completely... Well, no, it should be value betting the turn. There's no probably about it. Yeah. Well, that's what happens. People sometimes get stuck in a slow play, and they kind of lose where they are in a hand and just kind of screw it up. We've all done it. Not c-betting this board with the ace king. How many times am I going to 3-bet with high cards and just completely fucking miss? Seems more than a tad unfair to me. I'm going more and more and more off high cards in 3-bets. I think less and less people fold to it. That's why we should notice we're making the 3-bets much bigger. I don't think anyone folds to fucking 3-bets anymore. I just don't think they do it. I think people's ranges are tighter than ever. Well, not tighter than ever, but generally speaking, people seem to have pretty damn tight opening ranges these days. And then just never fold. That's how it seems to me. Obviously, that's a very gross generalisation that isn't completely accurate, but, you know, by and large, that's how it seems to be to me. We've now gone past 2 a.m. and I'm still playing. Pool is shrinking ever more. I just feel obliged to stay at this point. There's no way I can leave this pool right now. So it could be a mammoth video. Could be a bumper special. And we flop a pair and a nut flush draw. And we can race here. Very going to be hard for him to come back over the top of us. If he does, we're so deep we can definitely feel comfortable seeing another card. Oh, why it's just donk jammed on this board. It's shit because we've got 2 behind us, which doesn't make life too exciting for us. Gonna check call against Messi. Check back here, try and realise my equity. We do not. Ace jack. I mean, we have to call here. If one of these guys gets involved behind me, then we have to fold, but we're too strong to fold right now, so we have to call. I'm going to fold here. Call against Messi, obviously. Disappointing when Mabsy calls. Because who knows what the fuck his range is. It could be better aces, could just be draws. It's just a weird spot. I mean, we just have to check, I guess. Hope he checks back. He doesn't. And he had 2 pairs, so... Yeah, once we get called behind, it's just a crap spot. We get someone donk jamming to us. We've got top pairs, we can't fold. But you know if somebody calls behind, you're going to be in relatively rough shape. We took our stab on the flop on the dry board. We didn't get there. We still have a good shot to fall back on it. Maybe a jack and a 10. A deuce isn't going to do it though. Don't expect to fold a diamond, an ace, probably not a king. Gonna bomb into him. Obviously call if he jams. Queen 9-6, pretty wet board. Just gonna check back and try and show my hand down. the ace, so we can probably go for some value on the river. King Jack in position against a limper and somebody with a fish tag. So is that a good time to try and see a flop? Min bet. If he raises, we're going to fold, I think. Going to be seeing a flop with the Queen 10 suited. Fortunately, the open raiser doesn't have very much. We were going to see a flop, now we're not anymore. Should probably have just called, and so I folded and watched this so you guys can see it play out. We've got the extra bit of real estate on the screen. It doesn't hurt to do it, does it? We'll be calling this all in, of course, with our ace jack suited. If anybody else comes along, then we're not going to be calling it anymore. It's kind of tempting me again. Like, what are we getting here? 54 to win 80. I mean, if he does this with like some pocket pairs, it makes it really close. Oh, I meant fold and watch. I'll get that back up in a moment and see what happened. I did mean to fold and watch that one. Ace, queen and pocket fours. We would have rivered the straight, but we would have got it in bad, so who cares? And then the rejam with the pocket fours there is pretty fucking horrific. I think that needs to be noted, actually. Jam 60. Just so we know for next time if we're ever in that situation again versus him. Because if I'd known, obviously he could have pocket fours. We'd be absolutely snapping with our ace jack. But we're just not knowing that. I think it pushes it into the realms of a fold. Well, that's nice to know for next time. Because if that's something he's done there, he'll do it again and again and again. That'd be something that he does. So it's very useful information to have. Horrible flop for our king queen in terms of like we haven't got anything, but it's a pretty dry flop. So I think we can double barrel here quite often. And any card that comes like over the 7, we can double barrel on. The 4 is a stinking card to try and barrel on, so we're not going to. Ace deuce. Remember ace deuce as being somebody who was very passive from my old computer, so we'll put the chicken tag back on for now, but I will cross-reference that as I build up a sample. I've had some chronic computer problems since August. My old computer died, so I purchased a new computer. Within days the hard drive died. Fucking Dell took it back and they kept it for 20 days for returning it to me. Had it back about a week and a half, and same fault, it died again. And I was waiting another 8 days for them to send a technician to my house to fix it. So yeah, it's been all in all, it's been a fucking IT disaster. since late summer, but hopefully everything seems to be working fine now. Fingers crossed it'll keep working that way, and we can start rebuilding a sample size so we can have some better notes and better tags than our opponents, should I choose to stick at these games long term. Pool's getting bigger, 29 in it now. We've had a Czech player added to the mix, an extra Ukrainian, which isn't fun. And we've lost a UK player, we've lost a Canadian. So just keep it on top of the pool. Because it doesn't take too many subtle differences to go from being in a very good game to being in a moderate game. At the moment, I still think it's a very good game for the record. Still lots of players. I mean, Slovenia expecting to be half decent, but he's playing a 40 big blind stack, so it probably isn't. I bet fold this river on the king. It's kind of hard to get caught by worse, I guess, on that exact board. But in a small pot, it's not too hard. Turned a full house on. Did I call it? Did I donk then? I don't know. Losing the plot. But anyways, we turned a boat, so we're going to continue betting. Hands I'm worried about here are if we did donk into him. Well, nothing basically. Pocket jacks is the only one we're scared of course. And he folds a river. He limped, we bet. He called, turns an ace, we check, he bets. We call. We bet river and hope not to get raised, do we? Is that what we do? I'm going to bet to prevent him checking back with an ace. Yeah, and he had the ace 10, so... I mean, he may have bet that anyway. But at the same time, tons and tons of players would just check back there with just miss value, and I'm not a big fan of missing value. Of course I do it from time to time, because we all do, but I'd like to think that I get more than my fair share of value compared to lots of other players in this pool. Sure, there'll be players that are even better at getting value, and I'm certain of that, but versus the entire player pool, I say my ability to get value is higher than most. So we're already into massive overtime, 15 minutes into overtime. Let's just see how Trump's doing. I mean, I don't know if I want it to be close for the excitement or I just want him to get smashed. I'm really not sure. Clearly I don't want him to win. What do I want? Do I want it to be an absolute fucking massacre for Hillary, which I don't think it'll be anyway? Or do I want it to be close? So this is where we are so far. We are at... Trump is winning right now. Trump is currently winning, although obviously I don't know which states' results are coming and how relevant they are. You know, if they were like states Trump was expected to win or what have you. Odds checker. Let's see what you're telling me, odds checker. Ooh, wow, we've been check min raised. Just gonna fold. Don't expect him to be doing that for anything other than value, and if he's doing it for value, we are probably in trouble. Wow, the odds are shrinking massively. Look at this now. earlier today in the UK, Hillary Clinton was 6-1 on. Look at this now. 1-2 in spots, 8-13 in some spots, and 5-4 Trump. Fuck me. We could be on for the second massive political earthquake of the year. Part of me just says, fuck it, let's get Trump, see what happens. That kind of like when I had friends who voted Brexit just because they wanted to see what happened if you set the world on fire. So part of me is saying, let's get Trump and let's see what happens. Let's just make the world burn and fucking see what it looks like when it's burning. What a world if you Americans wake up tomorrow morning and you've got Donald Trump as your president. Fuck me. Wouldn't that just be a thing? And if I'm upsetting you with this, tough fuck, turn off. I'm not asked. I know politics do upset some people. And if you're one of them, then yeah, whatever. Just turn the video off. If you're not happy with me basically saying that Trump's a complete fucking idiot, then yeah, whatever. Deal with it. I'm not going to see about raise queen on this board texture. I keep checking, hope to win. Now we make our queen, so we're going to bet. I hope to get called by what exactly, who knows, but I expect we probably have the best hand, so maybe he can call with like some 8 or some kind of shit pocket pair that just doesn't want to fold because it's a small pot and it's cheap to call. Calling with the Jack King against the person with the fish tag, not calling with the Jack King against the untagged player. Double gut shot and a min dunk. We are interested, to say the least. I guess we just call and hope for a queen, don't we? Don't think we get paid much on the 8. If it just goes call again, I'm going to raise. Because I think it's so unlikely that somebody has a 10. And of course, if I'm wrong and we do get a call, then we still have some outs, hopefully. We don't want to happen here to get 3-bet, but if we do, we just fold and whatever. I guess we get owned by Black Labs. I've had a hard time seeing how Black Labs can have anything there when he just calls twice as a pre-flop raiser versus min bets on that board. Donald Trump, President of the US. Fuck me. Make it happen, America. Decided now I want it to happen. Fuck it. If he nukes us all, if he starts a nuclear war, then it's been nice knowing you. I want to see him make good on that promise to brick all the Mexicans in and then make them pay. Make that one work, Donald, you fucking racist moron. He's like America's version of Farage, isn't he? And Boris Johnson, all the fucking lies he says, all the things he's going to do just to win the fucking hearts and minds of some of the most bigoted people in the fucking West. And then not deliver on any of them promises because deep down, he knows the promises he cannot fucking keep. Like in the UK, 350 million more for the NHS if you vote leave. Vote leave. 2 hours later, whoa, hang on, no, we never said that. Fuck me, you had it written on the side of a bus, you lying racist cunts. Oh, fucking hell, can you not? Can you say you didn't say it? Morons. Right, we've been 3-bet pretty small here by this person. Oh, who the fuck is texting me at 2 o'clock in the morning? No, it's not. It's a Facebook notification. We can live without reading that for now. We have to call this 3-bet because it's just way too small. We completely bricks and now we're just in check fold mode. Crazy eights everywhere. Raise. Raise. Check back. Check back. Turn 2 pairs. Turn a set. And I have a hard time seeing how our 2 pairs can be good here. But we'll cross that bridge in a moment. What can we beat? Not much. Nine? Oh yes. We don't beat any with 2 pairs. If we have like top 2 pair or something there, or ace is up rather than king's up. I think a call, but king's up, no. We're not even top 2 pair. Sadly, our 8s don't block anything to do with king, queen, which is unfortunate here, but we still need to bet. I could be refreshing that all night now. I'm going to be refreshing this odds checker page. This is why I shouldn't really have looked. Wow, odds are coming in even further, look. Probably shouldn't be looking at this right now. Probably should be focusing on poker. Look at this. 2-3 Hillary, 6-5 Trump. It's a fucking coin flip. It's an absolute coin flip. Pocket sixes versus Jack 10 suited for who the fuck is going to be running the USA. What's Trump like for online poker? Is he good for online poker or is he shit for it? Just sat here contemplating what a fucking god awful world we live in when like truly hideous right wing politicians, you know, are capable of capturing over 50% of what are supposed to be progressive countries' fucking electorate. You know? People like Nigel Farage and fucking Michael Gove and Donald Trump and Boris fucking Johnson. How the fuck do they convince over 50% of a nation to vote for them? Or 50% of the people who vote to vote for them? How the fuck does that even happen? I don't get it. I do not fucking get it. I guess I'm a little bit of an ideologist on the other side though, so maybe that's why I don't get it. I mean, my left-wing ideologies are probably just as fucking loopy as the right-wing ones, just a lot less fucking hateful, I guess. Again, we completely brick with the ace-king. Story of our evening. Do it the turn though, so big up the Wingers. Two fish in the blinds, or 2 players tagged as fish in the blinds, means they're going to call with the ace queen rather than 3-bet it versus under the gun. He makes a pretty large c-bet on the driest board ever. which he probably shouldn't be doing with many parts of his range. Let's just see what he turns up with here. Typically, people who c-bet big on dry boards, I don't tend to give that much credit. I think people are weak more than they're strong when they bet big on dry boards. Hopefully we get to that. He did fold it. So that's interesting that he bets big on a low paired board and then just like folds to a jam. Bomb, c-bet, 669 multi-way, and fold to from fish. Just again, that's just like a simple little what might end up being a sizing tell. It might not do, but it might end up being a sizing tell. Interesting to know. Interesting to at least know he's capable of betting big and folding on dry boards. No, he might not. It might not be a tell. It might just be a size he chose that particular time. But again, poker players are creatures of habit. They tend to use similar sizes on and take similar lines on similar board textures over and over. So if he is one of those guys, I'm not going to c-bet this board with such pure equity. Just going to hope to hit. We do, and we really good turn for us because it not only does it give us top pair, it gives us a flush draw too. Ace king. Are we going to get to 3-bet it again and miss? No, we just get to isolate it this time and not miss. Perhaps my c-bet was a little too big there. I saw the two-toneness of it and kind of thought wet board, let's make a big bet, but there's only like one straight draw. There's a flush draw there and one straight draw, wasn't there? Obviously like different kind of gut shots and open enders, but wasn't like a multitude of draws out there. Remember, sizing's not horrible, but could maybe have made it a tad smaller. Typical Tim. He's the guy that's raised and checked twice, hasn't he? I'm so deep I'm just going to call here actually. Because pre-flop matters much less when we're deep. It's still going to be super hard to get all that money in. Just putting an extra few blinds in pre is going to make that much difference. Third time in a row, typical Tim's checked when he's been the pre-flop raiser, so it doesn't necessarily mean he's weak. So we'll make a rather large bet on that board texture. And he did just fold. The deeper we are, the more poker's a post-flop game. So not super keen to like 3-bet 2 queens and then get into situations post-flop where you're deep and most of the time you're just going to have one pair. Which is fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but you know, I'm more of a flop sort of player anyway. I'm not, as you guys will know, but watching me time and time again, not massive into 3-bet. By the way, I think that was a pure c-bet. Oh no, it wasn't. Sorry. For some reason, I thought his stack size was really, really tiny, but it's not. 3 is not a good turn card though. Cards I would have barreled would have been like a 10, Jack, Diamond, Ace, or a King. Obviously, the 3 of clubs is none of those cards, so we're just going to check back. I mean, there's ways we still somehow win. 10, 9, 10, Jack, Jack 9, all those types of hands. Don't think he has a queen when he checks a river. Do I need to bet to make him fold like an 8 or a 7? Which I think he's going to have a decent amount, so we will. We'll try and make him fold like an 8 or a 7 or something. If he's just like checked a queen to us 3 times, then good for him. Is he going to get to win? My Facebook is kicking off. It's all about a post I made about Prince Harry, where I basically said him now dating a non-white American girl would completely put monarchists who are also racist completely in a fucking tizzy, and it appears to have upset some of my friends on Facebook, some of my older friends. Well, that's kind of what I do. I kind of post things that I know are going to piss people off, just for my own amusement, basically. So I think most of my friends are liking that one, though. Shit turn card against someone who's very loose passive. I think he's going to have a lot of pocket pairs. If he's got the flush, then good for him. But I think he's going to have like a lot of pocket 8s, pocket 9s, pocket 6s, that type of thing. I think we can definitely get caught by worse here enough at the time to make this jam okay. Wow, King Deuce. So no, he just gets the flat out fish tag rather than the chicken tag. Queen, King, Ace. Basically just bet with our 4s, just try and pick up the pot. Called, we're done with it. We don't just get called, we get check raised. Bye bye, pocket 4s. It's nice knowing you. Going to see a flop with the 10-9 suited here, I think, on table 1. Pool is growing still for UK. Yeah, it's still a good pool. Bad luck of the lobby. We continue playing a bit longer. People used to complain that my videos are too long at 45 minutes. This one's probably going to be well over an hour and a half, so tough shit, I guess. Again, there's like a bomb seabird on the dry board. This time it's coming from a fish, so I'm going to give it a little more credit. I say when I think someone like who's a regular is making a bet size that doesn't look right on a particular board texture, I'm way more likely to give that kind of, how would I try to word it? If I see a regular making like a large bet on a dry board or a small bet on a wet board, I think they're going to be bet folding a lot. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. When I see a fish making any kind of size that doesn't sort of ring true with the board texture, I'm way less likely to make the assumption that they're going to fold, because they're going to be all over the map with the ranges, whereas and with their bet calling ranges, where I think most regulars are going to be a bit easier to try and take off hands sometimes. Nut flush draw against our Rogas. No reason not to see bet. Same goes on table 2, and we get 2 folds. We're kind of just hovering around now, aren't we? Not too much is happening at the moment. And we're losing a few chips on table 1, we're gaining chips on table 2, table 3, just like whatever. It refuses to pick itself up. Well, the games are still feeling pretty juicy, so while I still see like a bunch of players that are super unlikely to be regulars, we're going to keep grinding, because that's kind of our job. If we're going to be up all night watching politics, but I'm involved in some reasonable poker games where I can perhaps pick up another $100 or so, then my job is to play the poker games and not to switch off so I can watch some orange-faced fucking racist fuckwit possibly win an election. Check back flop, snap call turn, and the brick river rolls off. Doesn't feel like a good spot to try and bluff to me, so I'm not going to. Wow, just a 7-ace. Still, I think he cost a reasonable amount. Maybe not, I don't know if I'm Adam. Maybe he doesn't, but you know, weak players will definitely call for chops on those boards, or just call because they have the ace high on the double paired board. So I should have made that 3x there with the fish in the blind. So I've not been doing this session as often as I would like. Tiny 3-bet, we have the 6 moving 3-bet tiny in 2 spots. I guess we have to call both. Bricked and semi-bricked. So we get the bet when we don't mind just folding, and we get the check when we'd like to see a free card, so it's all good. I'm going to just turn my hand into, well, not turn my hand, I'm going to bluff here twice and just like try and rep a 10, knowing full well that we have the spades to sometimes pull us out of the shit. It's hard to see what 10x he can have that 3-bets pre, pocket 10s exactly, I guess, but that's unfortunate. He's just taken the play away from us. And the fact he's potting it suggests to me that he probably does just have a 10 somehow. And even if he doesn't, he's just taken the play away from us, so what can we do? That is a nice turn card on table 3. That is stacks 54 big blinds. Kind of awkward again with his stack size. What sizing to choose? Call because the fish in the blind there. I think he's going to go all in actually. And sadly we run pretty rough again. And that's kind of to go back to my earlier moan. That's pretty much just how my month's been going. I've been getting people in, not drawing dead of course, because if they're sucking out they're not drawing dead, but I've been getting people in pretty light, you know, they've got pretty light hands time and again, and I just have not been able to make it hold often enough. Which is really frustrating because it has been happening now for a not insignificant amount of time. Hope he doesn't donk big again. Do we have any notes on this fella? See, because there's just like a bunch of draws out there. There's a call one more time, I guess, and see what happens on the river. I'm going to fold. If he makes a big bet, I'm just going to fold. Yeah, he has made the biggest of all bets. I play these off way too often, thinking, all these draws have missed this and that and the fucking other end. It doesn't always end too well. I think we're going to bet here when our friend here under the gun checks back. Doesn't seem too likely to me that he has a pair, and then our friend here has checked the turn after the flop check through, so again, doesn't seem too like he's going to have a strong hand either. And we get it through. It's all gone a bit wonky since I checked on how the election was going, isn't it? Maybe I should have left well alone. Pairing an open-ender, backdoor straight draw. Seems like a good time to make a call. On table 2, we get raised. So we got an open-end straight draw, backdoor flush draw. I guess we have to call. Really like to see like the 7 of hearts right now. Queen of hearts is probably just as good. And I think he's going to check back sets and stuff way too often here. So he's going to bomb into him, and if he has the cure for our straight, then he has the cure for our straight. I'm going to hope the board doesn't pair if he calls. Board pairs I'm going to feel particularly nauseous. So 2 big blinds call, 1 big blind. It's a bit of a dicey raise, given stack sizes, especially with this chap here. And then he calls, so I'm just going to assume he's just some fish who has no idea how to bet his hand. Which he wasn't, clearly. I mean, diamonds have missed. Again, it's a spot where if you wanted to, you could make a really flimsy case for calling. But obviously I'm not going to. We're just going to fold and not really know what the fuck was going on there. King 7 suited everywhere. King 10 suited. Ace 5 suited. We're getting a lot of suited hands, which is pretty nice because there's Ausschlag. We know he's a fish, so we'll tag him. He's a well-known veteran of the 30NL stakes, but not in a good way. So we flop an open-end straight draw. Queen would give us the nuts. Ace King. Oh wow, already there's action. Ausschlag, mega passive player. And I mean mega passive. He's got a PFR of like 1. This might be the nittiest fold I've made in a long time. I just can't do it. Just can't do it. Yeah, look, he just pots it. Irritated with myself there because when you know your players, when you know your opponents, and you just want to make the fold, and then you can't, and then it's just obvious what they got when they pot the flop. Shit turn card. Tons and tons got there, so we're just going to check back. Tim, not too much ace X now, so we're going to bet the turn again. Some thin value. Like whatever, 6-7 hearts, 10 jack, 10-9, etc. He raises. And it's just like a turn check raise, it's whatever. It's just beluga time, isn't it? And now I'm starting to get slightly tired of this session because wheels are falling off. Not through no fault of my own, I don't feel I'm playing badly, just like nothing all of a sudden. Nothing feels like it's going right, and you know, when you feel like that sometimes it's just time to give yourself a little break. I keep going for another 10 minutes maybe. I'm not feeling tilted as such, but I'm just starting to feel like a little bit like not enjoying it as much as I was earlier. When you're not enjoying it, I think it's hard to play at your best. So I'm always like aware of when I'm just starting to just go on the cusp of getting a little bit fed up. Because that's usually a time when I need to keep myself very much in check. And if I feel like I get over it, you know, if in 10 minutes time I'm feeling positive again, then I'll continue with my grind. And if in 10 minutes time I'm just like still feeling like I can't be asked for this anymore, then usually I'll just quit. And we've dropped about 2 buy-ins in the last maybe half an hour. Without really doing too much wrong, so I don't feel I'm playing badly, but there comes a point where you're like, you know what? It's time to have a rest. King 10 suited. Guess we can take a flop. Ace jack off. I guess we can 3-bet and fold to a raise. We flop a flush draw on a paired board. When he doesn't c-bet, I'm going to assume he doesn't have an overpair too often. And we get raised again. This time we have notes. Bomb c-bet. That's the guy who's like c-bet earlier on the multi-way flop on a paired board. So he might just like bluffing on paired boards. So I'm just going to ship it in his face and expect him to fold a reasonable amount. He doesn't fold, but he only has 2 9s, which is good for us. And happy days, I guess. And I think my play's fine there, given that we've got the read that like he earlier bomb c-bet folded on a paired board, and now he's raising on a paired board. I think it's reasonable to assume that he maybe sometimes overplays or like just does something like on paired boards that is a bit spewy. I don't think he's done too much wrong there. He shouldn't really have raised, and he probably shouldn't really have called. But from his perspective, he's got an overpair on a paired board, and he's probably entitled to feel a little bit sorry for himself, given that he got sucked out on. But whatever. Do we need to call 7 big blinds with King 10? Guess not. We'll come along with this squeeze if the open raiser comes along, for sure. I'd like to be just that little bit deeper. We're still going to have like 110 blinds behind. I'm going to squeeze fold the ace jack. Wow, Ace King has not been kind to us tonight. Sadly, we don't completely miss the flop, but we don't get a great flop. It's going to be a good flop for him if he c-bets. We're going to have to fold. Preferred to have been a little bit deeper there, but when we've still got over 100 blinds to play for post-flop, I think set mining can't ever be a bad thing. Didn't work out that time, but it was close. 150 blinds, it's a slam dunk call. 120 blinds, possibly it's a fold. Auschlag has potted it. Mr. Super Passive Man. But we have like 2, possibly 3 fish going to come in this pot. Queen 10 suited is like obviously it's a really playable hand. And maybe Auschlag's changed since we had our last read on him. Maybe he's just got slightly more aggro pre-flop. Probably not. He's probably just had a couple of hands in a row. For sure I'm not betting this river. For sure I'm not calling if he makes a bet. So what did Auschlag have then? It couldn't beat Queen 10. 9 Jack suited. I didn't expect to see that. That is a move away from where I kind of thought Auschlag was in his play. Who knows? Maybe he's tilting. Maybe he's changed his game up a little bit. Who knows? But it's certainly something that's going to make me pay a little bit more close attention to him when I'm playing with him for the next few sessions, just to make sure that his game hasn't fundamentally changed. Because if it has, I'm at great risk of making some pretty terrible reads against him. It's our friend Typical Tim again. He's been getting the best of us so far. 3-bet the ace 10 suited for value, I think. Check back against Typical Tim because he seems to like checking a lot and raising some of the times. And we have showdown value. Tim bets here, we just have to fold, I guess. But I would like to get to showdown with him a couple of times just to see what the fuck's going on with his checking flops, because he's like checks flops constantly, then just like seems to get a little bit more aggressive on turns and rivers. It's hard to see what like. Is he limp call? I thought he was in the blinds. Has he actually limped called here? I need to go back and see this one again because I can't remember our pre-flop when I thought I just opened from the button versus the blinds, but I didn't. Clearly he's limped in, hasn't he? I'm seeing that one. I'll just see how the action went pre-flop. Did he limp? Ah, right. I get it. He was in the big blind. This guy in the small blind had just kind of sat out mid deal or whatever. It's typical Tim's. She's checking everything on the flop. I don't think I've seen him better flop once yet. So I wouldn't mind seeing some showdowns against him and trying to figure out exactly what's going on. Gonna bet with my fours just to try and pick up the pot. Flop a nut flush draw on table 2. Check raise with our fours, easiest fold ever. On this board texture against this many players, we could semi-bluff, but getting through all of them seems hyper unlikely. We will bet turn and river if it checks through twice. I think somebody surely would have bet a king by now. someone's donked on a paired board. Obligatory raise, I guess. Take it from there. Not set with the 2 10s, which is unfortunate. I think we'll still have to lead out here. Get called by the person we didn't want to get called by, which is the guy on the button. Because it really handcuffs us on the turn. We get called in 2 spots. I think my pocket 10s are about as much use as chocolate fireguard in this situation. I mean, I guess we can still be ahead of that pocket 7s, flush draws, etc. But there's not a chance of making another bet. All in for 152 blinds. We're going to go all out. Pick up a double gut shot. We'll check back and then bet the river if he checks again. Snap checks again. 7's not a great card. I guess it removes 7x from his range a decent amount. I think you would at least think about it with a king. So if he's got a king, it's a terrible king, isn't it? It's like king 5 or something. Who knows what I made him fold there, but it didn't feel like he had very much. Flush draw on table 2. You get check called by pretty bad regular. And Behemoth's tagged us that for quite a long time. We could try and rep the ace, I guess. Empty the clip, but we do have a little bit of history, and Voracious is not one who does that much folding to me. I mean, I better now. I'm working quite a lot on this session. It's been working quite well. King Queen off, absolutely trivial 4 when we raise under the gun, and the big blind, who could just call closing the action, decides to 3-bet. So now we've got 3 Romania, 2 unknown locations. Voracious. Plays all the time as well. He's just got some really moderate style. Pretty dry flop. Like I say, this guy doesn't fold to me too often. But on those kind of flops, we just have to bet. Good shot. And backdoor flush draw on table 2. 2 9s. It's just like some awful passive regular. I have no idea how it makes money. Or in fact, it's not about if he just doesn't make money anyway. There's not a chance he's a winning player. It's just one of those like cockroachy type players who just fucking limps and hangs around and presumably loses money at a reasonable rate, but kind of it's hard to beat him in a big pot because he's still like fucking weak tight. He just never putting big chips in without a really strong hand. I guess we just bet fold this on table 2. He's never going to raise that one 8. Never, 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 never. It's the guy who overplayed the 9s earlier. Does he really have an 8? What 8 does he have though? this is where I make some mistakes. I kind of convince myself to call, because I'm like, right, what 8s does he have? Limps the button, just calls the turn. Eight, 7. 8, 7. 9, 8 doesn't really call the turn. Getting like 3 to 1 on a call here. I don't think I can fold. Yeah, pocket 8s. Never mind. And again, wow, Ace King missed for like the millionth time tonight. Redeems itself slightly on the turn until he does that, and I'm just going to fold, I think. Calling 2x pot shoves with just one pair doesn't seem like a good idea to me. And I think we're going to start sitting out now, because I'm just starting to feel myself losing love for the session. It's not been the worst session in the world. I've made a couple of buy-ins just about, but yeah, it feels like it could have been so much better. But you know, it is what it is. Wow, 2 hours. I think outside of Fadl type tournament videos, this might be the longest video I've ever made. In fact, because I'm a little bit OCD, we're going to play through to the 2 hours. You watch me as a buy-in now, getting through to the 2 hour mark. Yeah, we're going to get through to the 2 hour mark. Then we're going to quit, because quitting at 157 just doesn't feel right. Our friend, I thought it was voracious. Sorry, it's not, so ignore anything I was about to say. Not gonna. Very rare you catch me c-betting flops in multi-way pots when I've missed. I usually bet the turn in the river once he checks twice though. Don't fancy betting that 6. Do not fancy betting that 6. Don't think I've got it in me. Do not think I've got this 6, this bluff in me. 8, 7, it probably would have worked too, but never mind. At least we get to win a little bit back there. Probably would have worked. Oh, remember this DR Voodoo? I think I do anyway. Pretty sure it was an absolute nut job. But anyway, we're not going to get to see a flop with him because we get squeezed. And don't know why we keep sitting out at table 3, but we're going to sit out now anyway because we're going to be cruising into the 2 hour mark. It was a thoroughly uneventful 3 minutes, but 3 minutes well spent, I feel. So one last look how the Trump betting's going. Wow, Donald Trump is now odds on. Wow, would you look at this? We could be in for a momentous evening. He's now odds on to become the next president of the United States of America. It's at Brexit 2. Brexit 2 is upon us. This midnight might be somewhat of an aggressive, tricky customer. I took my shot. He check called, and then the 8 come off, which isn't a card I'm going to expect to get too many folds on. So I'm going to give up. If his check called me with ace high, then hallelujah, pocket force. Guess we could have got one through there, but another guy we haven't quite figured out yet. Are these tables ever going to end? So I guess we have to end off by wishing our American comrades good luck if you do end up with Trump. It's going to be an interesting few years. Donk call. Not the greatest of turn cards. Calling again. No club on the river. We probably... I mean, just what bluffs does he have here? If he's bluffing a flush draw on the flop he's got there, he's been betting an ace all the way, he's probably got a better hand than me. When we need to have what, ace 7 and do this 3 times at ace 7 or ace 5. He's gonna fold, whatever. Right, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We ended up with really interesting exciting start, then just kind of nothing went right for the last hour or so. I mean, get some back, but whatever. I've had fun making the video. It's been an absolute 2-hour monster session in terms of how long the video is going to last, and we've kind of decided that Donald Trump's going to be the president of the USA. So, yeah, happy days, I guess. Right, I'll catch you guys later, and hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave your comments, your feedbacks. If you got this far through it, please hit the like button, and yeah, we'll see you again soon. Bye bye for now.